Greetings everyone. I'm going to feature a video that is actually on Empress Yuda's channel. I watched it yesterday, and to be honest with you, perhaps if it was on other people's channel, I probably wouldn't have watched it. But I did yesterday, and something happened to me while I was listening to this video. And I left her a comment, and today I want us to listen it together, and I want to share my opinion of what's happening in this video. This is going to be my third time listening to this video, and I'm doing so again with you. And I will pause the video to discuss as we go along.
Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his holy name. Praise God.
So she starts out in a very prayerful mood, which kind of held my attention, to be honest with you.
I'm inside just now, and the Lord sent me out. Go outside to go into the open heavens.
When she said that, she was inside, and that the Lord sent her out to go in the open heavens. She got my attention. She got my attention because, like I say, when we talk about the elements, the sun, air, water, fire, it's through these things that energy is emitted and transmitted. So when she says she's told to go outside, of course, I'm intrigued.
By obedience, I come outside.
That word, obedience, further caused me to think that this woman actually has something to say, and that she was not operating on self, that she was indeed given a message.
I want to hear what God is saying. Now I came out and sat at the front of the among the three. And I heard a voice of Almighty God.
So she is lured, let's just use that word for lack of a better word. She's lured to go sit under a mango tree. You know how I tell you that I talk to the trees, I hug the trees, I communicate with the trees. When she says that, her spirit moves her to go under this mango tree. I'm thinking, uh-huh.
Prime Minister.
Okay. The language are the words that she just said. See, I was thrown off by it. The moment what we call this in Jamaica is speaking in tongues. And let me tell you, a lot of it is unclean spirits. A lot of that stuff is, you call it unfamiliar spirits. But when this woman, and for the first time in eons, this woman is saying these words, and suddenly I'm drawn in it. It's like, it's magical. The thing she's saying, I don't know the meaning of it, but I knew that it had meaning. And what I would like is someone from any part of Africa who recognize any of these words to leave a comment or tell me at least what does it sound like. Because guess what? If you have the ability to speak in tongues, it should be a real language. And I think a lot of people in the church, there are people who actually have a gift to speak, But if you're going to speak in an unknown tongue, there should be an interpreter. And if you are not the interpreter, someone else should be able to interpret. I do believe that. I do believe that. And what she was saying sounded like a real language. And she's saying these things, feeling like the Spirit is operating through her. She's saying these things, not even realizing that actually you're communicating. So the words she used in English that you understand, I think I can almost bet that if someone from Africa, because it's an African tongue, a lot of time messages are relayed to us in tongues. The spirit of our ancestors rising up and speaking through us, whether you want to call that God, or you want to call it Jesus, or you want to call it ancestor, or you want to call it guides, it doesn't even matter. The bigger message lies in what she's saying in some of these unknown tongue. I said, some people it's unfamiliar spirits that speak through people this way, and also that deep spiritual moving within a human being that allow them to speak a language that they don't understand. So sometimes we mock the speaking of the tongues and not realize that they're actually individuals who have the ability to communicate in a language that even they don't understand. And I think in this case, it was happening to this lady. I need an African brother or sister to come and interpret what this woman is saying.
All 3 days of fasting for Jamaica.
The number 3 is quite significant. And if you think that Jamaica doesn't need a spiritual intervention, you're mistaken. So for her to say, but I also think that in 3 days that she's talking about, not just the 3 days to do this fast or whatever, but perhaps there was an event that took place in 3 days, or there will be an event that takes place in 3 days. And that 3 days event should send a message to the person who she's speaking to in this video to understand that this, look at my screen, 1818. Please look that up for me. Look for the meaning of that. Yeah, so the person who she's addressing the message to, it's a very serious message, a very serious, what I would consider a warning for this individual to understand that whatever is going to take place within 3 days, it is going to change the atmosphere or the climate for people in Jamaica.
Jamaica was locked down for 3 days. 3 days.
Perhaps it's going to be locked down. Not that it has to be locked down, but maybe it's going to be locked down. And at the end of the video, I'm going to link a video that I have. I named it Prophetic Dream, talking about people in a church and having these doors being kicked down by different people, people in military outfits, people in the Chinese. And if you remember that dream, those of you who are here for a long time, I'm going to link that and you watch it again. In my opinion, like I said, when I said to Empress Yuda that I got thrown off with the language, I couldn't look past the language. So the first time I heard her message, I didn't hear what she was saying. I heard the language and I couldn't move from that.
Eva Sata. 3 days. God said 3 days. Lord Jesus Christ, Almighty God. God said,
That response, the way she's calling out Jesus, that stuff is like someone who's trying to make sense of the message she's given. It was very impulsive when she heard that coming out of that church and going outside, being obedient as she says, but being a bit confused, like she doesn't quite understand what's happening. She doesn't understand the gratitude, she doesn't understand the power of that message. She doesn't quite understand it. And so it demonstrates to me a kind of sincerity.
One more chance. 3 days. 3 days. One more chance. The Lord said, if he doesn't obey, then he will see what I will do.
He will not obey. He won't.
Jesus Christ. You can't understand God. You can't fathom God.
I like the way she's saying she doesn't understand God. And she's trying to figure out God because this stuff is so heavy on her. Whatever is happening in her spirit is so heavy that she's trying to make sense of it in that physical being. And you can't understand the physical, you can't understand spirituality or spiritual work in a physical body. If you just have to release, you have to just let go, just let the universe speak and just obey as she is doing.
Jesus Christ, Almighty God, we can't understand.
Remember, she's using the language that she knows.
There's a war is about to break out in Jamaica.
There's a war in the spiritual warfare, a spiritual,
prayer can stop this war.
more than prayer will be able to stop it.
Doors has opened in Jamaica. And the Lord said that in the Jamaica war alone, people are coming into a country to war, Jamaica.
So, in the next video that I'm going to ask you to watch again, the doors that I spoke about is the same door she's talking about. You see, we can get the same message through different people in a different way. And it's time for people to stop, because I think it's very arrogant when you say that, God not giving you no message to give me. You're arrogant. God couldn't give a message. What you call God, the universe, the spirit, whatever it is you term it, can give you a message through any method, any means, any person, even an animal. So as a messenger, you're often ignored. We often ignore messengers, and they come in different forms. Bob Marley, Marcus Garvey, Peter Tosh, all these individuals were messengers. They had a message to relay, and it's always, it comes in different forms, because when you won't take the message, when you won't heed the warning, it will come, it will come, it will come until it ceases. The message of those doors kicking down in the dream that I shared is no different from the one that this woman is sharing. And I refuse to not acknowledge her because she speaks a language that I don't speak, or she says it in a way that I wouldn't say it in.
God didn't say for what or how, but he said that 3 days of fasting.
The 3 days of fasting is for her.
Jamaica.
She needs to do the fasting for herself as well. What sounds like gibberish actually is real language. Someone needs to interpret this. Someone needs to get somebody to figure out what this woman is saying. When I look at her, I'm seeing an African woman. I'm seeing like a spirit of an African woman rising up in this lady. I feel it. I get chills. And the language continues to pull me away from even what she's saying. Just what I don't know, what would appear to be gibberish. That stuff is what people need to pay attention to.
God said, what I see, man don't see. What I know, man don't know. Man they because I am God.
Do you hear the woman? Do you hear the spirit? Do you hear the African spirit in the woman talking? So she gets emotional, taken over by a spirit that is working through her. I'm going to put the link to Empress Yuda's channel so you can watch it for yourself. And I'm going to say that I've been waiting also because I believe in prophetic dreams, and I know that sometimes it takes a little while, it takes a little time for it to manifest. But I guarantee you, the people in the church, the building that we are waiting in as people looking for a physical being will not come that way. It will come in the spirit, and the warnings will come through children, to older folks, but will not heed that warning because we're not very spiritual anymore. We're more religious. They're there now, and those doors are about to be kicked down. Watch the video again that I posted. I don't remember how long ago that was now, but I will link it here. Watch it again. And I also did a very terrible job at trying to draw this. I said I'd get someone to paint it, but I still haven't had the chance to do that yet. So in essence, I'm saying I believe the woman. I believe that something came over her, whatever you choose to call that, and that forced her to go outside and to deliver that message. She's telling the truth. I believe her. And then, after listening to her yesterday, I had a dream. I had a dream, and I think it just confirmed what she's saying. This is what I pray for. This is what I spend time in silence and ask for. The ability to interpret dreams, the ability to recognize the voice of our guides, and be connected to the universe so that messages get relayed to me and through me, and to respect other folks who also have the gift or are chosen, because it's not really a gift per se, it's chosen to do a particular thing. Those of you who mock these individuals and make fun of them, and I applaud her, because people are going to think you're crazy. People are going to think you're mad when you come out talking that God give you a message to give anybody. Never underestimate the power of the unseen and the things that you don't quite understand. And know that anyone can be used to deliver any message. Stay blessed, everybody.